guys? Yeah, today we're gonna be trying something new. I got a new idea cooking up, and the dog really likes it. But I've been wanting to do this for a little while. But I'm going to be mixing booze with books, and so I'm gonna be talking about like a different classic book and kind of pair an alcohol with it, and I'll just kind of give my opinion on it, my thought on the book. Whether I liked it, whether I didn't. I'm not going to give necessarily a recommendation because to each their own with books, I guess. But that's the same thing with booze. And so this one, jeez, the dog really losing her mind. This one, I'm going with the narrative of the life of Frederick Douglas, an American slave, written by himself. This is one of those books that I know, I'm positive I was supposed to read at some point in high school, and I definitely didn't do it. I was probably supposed to read it in college, and I definitely didn't do it. But anyways, I was like, you know what? I'm going to read it now. I'm going to get to it. I'm going to read this dang thing. And I've been going off of, I found a list, I'll put the link in the bottom, of like top 100 American classic books you really need to read. And naturally, this book was on it. And so I figured, okay, I'm going to give it a whirl. And before I get into it, the alcohol, I decided to choose to go with it. I just went with some Jim Beam Kentucky bourbon. Maybe that's a lame choice, but I'm just gonna enjoy some Jim Beam over ice. Little random story before I get into the book. My first year out of high school, in college, living at this house during the summertime, and we had this thing called the Beam Team, where everything you did revolved around Jim Beam. If you were playing, we would play Trivial Pursuit. If you got a question wrong, you had to do a shot at Jim Beam. If you're playing Tiger Woods of golf and you missed a putt, shot at Jim Beam. Needless to say, the game didn't usually last very long. But the reason I decided to go with a bourbon or something like that for this book was because Frederick in the book described that, I think right around, maybe it was around Christmas, the holidays, whatever, the slave owners would always like give everybody kind of like some cheap alcohol, whatever, just to kind of essentially help them forget about trying to become free and trying to, you know, not be a slave, trying to break out and everything. And so I guess that's basically why I went with it. It's just kind of, because I don't remember him really mentioning too much about alcohol in the book. But, so here's for the Jim Beam while I get into it. Anyways, I had, I've talked to some people recently about, the book, and most of the people that I had talked to about whether they liked it or whatever, a lot of them said that they understood the significance of the book. I mean, this is written by a former slave in like the 1830s, but they said, not necessarily the most page-turning read. And so I didn't really know what I was getting into, what I was going with it. I had no idea what to expect. But to be perfectly honest, I thought it actually read relatively well. It was, it flowed well. It was, it's not meant to be like a blockbuster page turner. That's definitely not, for sure. That's definitely not the case. But I thought, I guess for what everyone else was saying about it, that I'd heard for the writing style, I thought it was, for the most part, very well done. And, it painted a pretty bleak picture of, naturally, of the slaves of, the 1830s. Now, so this book is, the version I have, it's the whole book, but the whole thing's like 130 pages. You can knock it out pretty quickly. Of course, so it starts basically at his birth and goes up till when he becomes free and everything. And so you're reading it. At least I was reading it, and I was like, okay, I want to know how he did it. How did he become free? That was like the entire catalyst. That's what I wanted to know, because we've, most of us has seen Roots in school and seen and read other books about slavery, and so it's like, okay, they kind of reinforce a lot of stuff that you'd learn in college and grade school and everything. I wanted to know how he got free. That was like, that's what I want to get. That's what I wanted to get to. And, I'm paraphrasing it, and spoiler alert, giving away the ending, he becomes free. But so you're reading it, and it basically says, not the exact words, but it's like, in 1837, I decided to go to become a free man, and I did. It's like, what? You can't leave. That is the most important thing in the story. That is what I wanted to know, and you didn't put it in. That part killed me. I was just like, this is what I wanted to find out. How did you do it? And so, you have to go up on Wikipedia and look up all this other stuff to figure out, that he basically mailed himself or shipped himself on a boat in a package. But, none of that was in the book. And I get some of it. He says, because he's writing in the 1830s, he doesn't want to call out his buddies and doesn't want to give away some of this stuff. I get that. Totally get it. But I feel like at least drop me some hints. Throw something out there. Don't just say, I want to become free and I did it. It's like, all right, well, that was anticlimactic. And again, this is not a book it's not designed to be a page turner. So that was a bummer, man. That was a bummer. And one thing, not necessarily about the book, but I like to go to the used bookstores, and I usually look for old books. I like the smell. I like the way it feels. Naturally, this is not an old one, but this was obviously done by either high school. I'm a guess college student, because I don't know if the high school students are selling the books. But a lot of so there's a lot of like written notes and everything in it, and sometimes I don't know if they're making some of these college kids overanalyze certain things, and they're turning the person that. The side notes are turning Frederick Douglass into a Jesus character repeatedly, and they're pulling some really fine strings in some places. And it's just I don't think when he wrote this, he's like, I'm gonna write it like I'm Jesus, because he goes off on the Southern Christianity, which is basically they're basically heavily religious in the Southeast to make themselves feel better for doing all this. More or less, that's what he kind of gets touches on at the very end. But I don't know. Maybe that's just me. I was really surprised that I don't know if that's what the person's whoever owned this previously. That's what they're making him get into with the stuff, but. I thought it was interesting. I thought that they were making that. Apparently, colleges are making people overanalyze certain stuff. It's I would bet a lot of money some of these books that the author's not going for that. They're just telling you a story. They're telling you the story of his life. I don't think he's trying to parallel with any kind of religious text. Maybe he is, and I'm a complete idiot. But again, I'm not doing a lot of research. I just read the book, and that's my thought of it. But, I thought it was easy to read, which, when the book's almost 200 years old, the language, you're always kind of I hope I can even know what they're saying. But it reads exceptionally well. It's easy to read. It's very interesting. Granted, maybe the part that you might want to know, that I know I wanted to know, isn't included. But I think, it's definitely worth, checking out. Worth reading. It's a short thing, and it is on the top 100 books that you should probably read that's written by an American author. And most of the books that we're going to get into on these little show things, that's what it's going to be. But this is one of the first episodes of this. These formats going to change. I'm sure it'll get a little more structured. The whole backdrop will change, moving soon, so I'm kind of limited with what I'm doing right now. But it'll evolve and get better as we go forward. But if you read the book, what did you think about it? Let me know in the comments. And this is something that you read in high school and you're like, oh, this is interesting, or you just it's one of those books that you just you had to read it. And so for me, that was a thing in high school. I was just I will read it on my own when but when somebody forces you to read something, for me it's a little it takes, I don't know, some of the fun out of it. But anyways, those are my thoughts on the narrative of the life of Frederick Douglass. Again, let me know. And if you'd like to subscribe, I'm going to try a few more of these. And I don't know, I got a whole bunch of old books I've been going through. So yeah, if you have any recommendations for other books, let me know. And I will catch you guys later with my Jim Jim Beam. I was gonna say Jack Daniels. Jim Beam. Take it easy, guys.